Okay, this is episode 21 of What If History Restarted. I'm a little sick right now, so I might not sound that great. Also, this is like the third time that I've had to re-record this video, so that's great. But anyway, at the end of episode 20, I forgot to do power rankings, so, yeah. So I think you can guess who number one's gonna be. Obviously the Cypriots. Number 2 is North France, and 3 is Gibraltar, but they're pretty close. 4 is probably South China. 5th is Germany. 6th is this Indian one. 7th is, if I can get it right, Bangladesh. 8th is Korea. 9th, actually, say St. Petersburg is 8th. Korea is 9th. And then Denmark's 10th. Neo-Jazz is 11. Actually, probably Baikal is 11. And then Neo-Jazz is 12. Now, this country would be a lot higher than 13th. Only thing is that it's just a lot less developed technologically and culturally, and it's a lot poorer than the rest of these countries up here. Because, it's more tribal. These are more like actual kingdoms and empires. This is kind of like a tribal union. But anyway, 14th is Sakhalin / just Japan, I guess. And 15th is this guy. So yeah, that's the rankings. I might actually swap. Well, let me get it right. Not like that. Okay, well, I might actually swap Finland, St. Petersburg, whatever, with Bangladesh, but that's it. Okay, so anyway, as you can see here, these Cypriots are very big. They have a lot of different culture in them, and that's not really all that great usually. So, first thing that we see happen in this video really is that, of course, there's been like minor rebellions like all the time, but like this is gonna be, I don't know why I turned the volume up, but this is the first like actually really big one that actually almost is successful. So the red team kind of rebels just along these major cities, and they start getting up pretty far, and this even inspires Egypt to do the same, even though the red team and Egypt weren't really on the same terms, good terms, I mean. Same even happens with the blue team. So all of a sudden, the Cypriots are kind of collapsing, and, well, I mean, it's not all of a sudden, but, yeah, they are kind of collapsing. Where is the alliances? Square team considers joining in, but pretty quickly these rebellions start to get squashed out, so they do not. But still, this is definitely showing that Cypriots are kind of losing control, just because they've gotten so big and they've lasted for a pretty long time considering their size. It's very impressive. One thing to note here is that the Cypriot monarchy kind of works like this. The government, you got the one king, and you got like, make these smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that 1, 8, 10. So yeah, there's one king and then 10 senators, I guess. And the thing is, though, that the king is equal in power to 9 senators. So that means that if the senators want to override the king decision, they need to get at least, well, they need to all agree. Because if they tie, then it goes to the king. So, really, it has the power of 9.5. So basically, the thing is, though, this new Cypriot king that's been in charge for a little while, he's been known to be paying one of these guys by a lot of money to always side with him. And so that's not really settling that well with these other guys, and they're very angry because now they literally can't win if they disagree with the king. So, but the thing is, the king's from Cyprus, obviously, because that's where all the kings come from. So it's this guy, and probably like all of these are from the dark red Cypriot culture. As for these three, we have one being, let's just erase them, but we got one from the Oman area, but there's like no national pride for this anymore, because if you remember, it kind of dissolved. We got one from like up here in Egypt, but they really aren't that, they're kind of lazy, and also they still aren't really that nationalistic, especially since they're like from where North Egypt was. But finally we got one from Persia, kinda right around here. And so this guy is actually, what he does is that because of this, he goes and tells the public here, like, hey, we're gonna revolt against the government pretty soon. Well, maybe not soon, but like, I will either revolt, or if it takes too long, my son or grandson or something like that. And then we will create a new Persia. And so because of this, the Persians start preparing for some rebellion pretty well, but they do it very secretly, so Cypriots don't have any idea. So yeah, this is something to keep in mind. Anyway, if we go up here, we're going to see some mass exploration. Well, maybe not mass, but we do see, we do see a pretty good chunk of Russia get discovered, so that's good. What we now see is also this country down here. What is that? Yeah, these guys are kind of small and weak, and they want to expand. So after they do some exploration down into here, they're now going to expand down here, and they now are looking pretty big. So that's great for them. Anyway, these colors are way too similar, so why not just have this guy conquer the other one? So that's exactly what they do. And now all of a sudden Madagascar is forcefully put into this big South Africans kind of union. But it's kind of not a union anymore since it's forceful. So, whatever you want to call this. But yeah, they're doing pretty well for themselves. They consider invading these two guys, but these guys are actually going to go ahead and make an alliance. There's no circles left, so we will do that. So yeah, these guys, that's too big. We see all of these guys join up in one. And now there's kind of actually like 3 reasons for this alliance. A is these guys, B is Neo-Hijaz, and C is the Cypriots. The Cypriots haven't expanded in a while, so these guys correctly assume that they probably won't be unless they fix out their internal systems, internal issues, but that probably won't happen. So they're pretty much safe from expanding, at least until the foreseeable future. So yeah, that's why they aren't that big of a threat. Neo-Hijaz and these guys, though, they are a little bit worried about these guys possibly beating them. But the thing is, Neo-Hijaz and this country don't like each other, so they probably wouldn't team up. All of the Circle Team combined could beat either one of them, but not both of them. So, that's another thing. Over here, we see Bangladesh is going to send down a ship to these islands and colonize them. But as you can see, I kind of just did it. This ship goes a little bit further, and it now lands in Java, Jakarta, I'm not sure. One of those. Sumatra, that's what it is. So no, it was not. But yeah, they do some exploration here, and that's nice. And now we see a lot of this get filled in, as well as all of Sumatra, and even some of Java. I believe this one's Java. because Jakarta is the city of the capital of Indonesia, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think that's how it is. Why is that like that? Anyway, there's really not too much going on over here in China. The Triangles team is kind of just, it's literally just these two, and they're kind of sad and afraid because they really can't do anything. I mean, Korea's pretty strong, but even them and their one ally would still get completely destroyed by the rest of these guys. However, they are going to get one new ally. If we can copy this. And this ally is going to be Bangladesh. So the thing is, Bangladesh, they've obviously kind of were just scared of India, but now they're kind of getting scared of like being tagged or coalitioned by India and this country. So they decided to get some protection from this one at least, and join the Triangle team. So this country considers joining the Reverse Triangle team, but they don't. Instead, they just expand. So if we are on the right layer, and then we can see them do that. But now Bangladesh is going to do much of the same, and they're just going to go northern. Up here on the trade route, we see that this specific section is used pretty heavily. It's kind of like the Silk Road. And eventually we see a lot of like people make shops here, and eventually some of these shops are going to turn into fully developing economies. So because of that, we soon enough see some countries pop up here. These countries are entirely just to make money off of the trade route, and at first they're very weak, but they actually end up being really successful, which people didn't really expect. So because of that, they actually do get pretty rich. So if we just make them colored, and then yes, we can now see this. We'll also give them capitals, of course, like this. Ooh. Right here. One here. And one here. So yeah, these guys are actually pretty wealthy for their size, and they're all pretty hostile towards each other, but oh well. Don't need the trade routes really. Well, maybe we do. So over here, this yellow team that used to be like a lot larger, they really want to have this like more coastal part of the trade route, because to be honest, this one that goes through their country, as you can see, is kind of just a dead end. It's not really used that heavily, so they feel pretty upset about that, and they want it to be more rich because they are very poor. So they're going to go ahead and try and invade the Netherlands, and Jutland is actually going to go ahead and do the same. And now that's, these guys are actually just going to get completely, they really don't stand a chance, and now they just get partitioned by all three of these guys. However, this still creates an issue, as they still do not really go along the main trade route. So what are we going to do about that? Well, this one's stronger, so they're gonna go after Jutland. So we'll make that like this. And so now these guys push up into Jutland, try and take as much territory as possible. And I assume this guy will just leave them alone, but they do not. Well, that's just their color. And so yeah, these guys start pushing up, and now pretty quickly these guys realize that their army was very not good, and so pretty quickly they get destroyed by both of these forces. And so in the peace deal, we see that they are no longer going to exist, but neither will the Netherlands. Map, goodbye. Where are you? There you are. Cities, we will make these guys major cities, or capitals, I mean. So we got you, and you. But as for their actual land, we see that's pretty much just split 50-50 between these guys. Between Jutland, Denmark, whatever you want to call it. Why is it so pixely here? Sure. And then the rest goes over to these guys. So yeah, went pretty well for them. Does my mic work? Yes, okay, good. I think it is. So yeah. Thing is though, Germany is now starting to feel kind of threatened by this guy. So they go to Jutland and they're like, hey, we know you just fought a war against, kind of with these guys, but you want to betray them now. And Jutland is going to accept. So pretty much, probably like a year after that first war, you see another one break out. With now this team getting teamed up on. That's not right. That's still not right. Why is it doing that? Okay, sure. So yeah, these guys are getting kicked back pretty far. There is one slight issue. The rest of the square team did not agree with this. So they actually are going to be kicking Germany out of this alliance. And in fact, France is now going to, or North Italy. So yeah, North Italy, I mean, you can kind of call it France. I still like North Italy more though. So yeah, North Italy and Gibraltar are actually going to start supplying this one. They're not fully involved in the war. This country is now pretty much not able to do that. But they're able to actually kind of really bounce back here. They go all the way up to here, push pretty deep into German territory. And so these guys are just going to call it quits. And in the peace treaty, these guys actually don't take too much land. But it's just a little something, not like that. It's just a little bit like, we'll cut this off, because why not? It's just like this. Yeah. However, Germany and Denmark are now very unhappy with this guy, and with the rest of the square team. So now these guys are going to go ahead and form their own alliance. Which, we're kind of running out of shapes. I mean, we used all, like, the basic ones. I guess we could just do a star, though. Star. Filled. Was it control? No. Shift. Yes. There they are. Not that. So yeah, the Star Alliance is now a thing. These guys are pretty limited in numbers, but, oh well. And in other news, we see that this guy is unsurprisingly going to join the square team. And yeah, St. Petersburg continues to expand pretty heavily, going all the way out like this. Borders in this time are still pretty kind of rough, so that's why it's not very sharp, if that makes sense. They are they're asked by both the Square and the Star team to join their alliances, but they do not for now. As for this country, they go ahead and start invading this one. There's really no justification, they just want land. And so this invasion goes very well, with them getting kicked back all the way like this, and these guys fully annex them. Very exciting war, I know. With this though, these guys are pretty much just Poland, like WICSO Poland, kind of, maybe not really. I don't really know what you would call this, but yeah, whatever this thing is, Latvia, because that's where its capital is, they get pretty big now, so that's good. And unlike Finland or St. Petersburg or whatever, they actually will be joining an alliance, which will be the Star Alliance. These three countries are a little bit scared to exist because they're they're surrounded by the Cypriot Empire, this thing, and then by two very hostile alliances. However, these two guys kind of like each other. These two guys, but they hate this one. So, they consider invading it, but they don't wanna, just in case, because that'll distract the military, so then they might get invaded themselves. So they just don't do anything, except for unite. Not that color, because that's too close to Latvia. So, whoa. Their capital is going to be in this one, and that's that. This poor guy is really just not in a good place right now. Honestly, I don't really know what else to do. That's kind of all I had planned, I'm pretty sure. So, let's just go to Britain. So, over here, we are going to see a rebellion take place right over in this Scottish area. This weird brownish looking one. Rebels from both Yorkshire, I don't know, and Scotland. It mostly focuses in on Yorkshire though. I don't know if it's Yorkshire or Yorkshire. I'm gonna go with Shire because it looks like that. And actually this is pretty successful. And they now look all the way like this. And now they kind of just stalemate like this. And so this is how they are now. With this, Yorkshire was one of the more powerful, probably the most powerful country in the British Isles. But now people are going to see this as kind of an opportunity. So we see Wales is going to go straight in, as well as Scotland. And so these guys pretty quickly meet up like this. And these guys are just going to storm in and take the rest. The peace treaty, we actually aren't going to see Yorkshire get fully demolished. Instead, it's just like this. Scotland really doesn't get that much at all. Wales did the most in the war, so they are going to be getting the most land. And now they look like this. Except the Isle of Man is going to be independent. Because we love Isle of Man. Let's just make it not like that. And there. It's gonna get completely covered by its capital, but that's okay. We'll leave 1 pixel so you can see it. As for Ireland, we see that this country is gonna go ahead and try and invade this one. And that they start the capital gates, but now this one starts to get its military together pretty well. And using some nice tactics, they're able to kind of push these guys out. And now it's looking like this. However, some people from both countries don't like this, and they're scared that they're going to go up here and create their own country thing. And then these guys are just going to be taking this. However, these guys then completely collapse and are replaced with a brand new country. So, yeah. These guys now look like, why is that so big? Now look like this. This is Ireland now. However, some people in this country now do not like that it expanded. So, like coming generations after this war, maybe like the next generation, we see that this thing down here breaks off. And Ireland is becoming, well, the British Isles in general really are becoming pretty chaotic, just like they were in AdizzPro's WICSO. Wow. I'd say this country is the strongest now, followed closely by Wales, and then Cornwall, then Scotland, then Ireland, and then the rest are pretty weak, except Isle of Man, which would solo the Cypriot Empire. Anyway, last thing we're gonna do, I'm pretty sure, is that Gibraltar is going to lead a pretty big exploration effort, so maybe not that big. But first of all, they send out some people into the Sahara and continue to find absolutely nothing. So they just go ahead and claim some more land. However, what they are going to be doing is some more sea exploration. And nothing really, well, obviously this is teaming up with other countries as well. And obviously, nothing really that special comes out of it. They don't really find anything too good. Just like a couple more islands, which Scotland's going to take. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I'm not sure if this was a little bit shorter or not, but if it was, then oh well. And yeah, this is how the world map's looking. More without alliances, more without capitals, as cities in general. And yeah, so I'll see you next time.